What's up, ambitious listeners? We missed y'all so much, so
Yes, yes.
much, so much. It's been a while. Glad to be back at it. For those of you who may not be in Arkansas, um, we kind of got a little taste of Mother Nature. You know what I'm saying? The
Mm-hmm.
tornado came through and did a lot of damage. Thankfully, I don't believe there was that many casualties and stuff like that, but there was a lot of damage. And unfortunately, my great friend and co-host here, Blaze, was
Yeah.
affected by that, but now she's back safe and sound, her and her family. And we back at it for y'all. Blaze, I know you've been missing it just like I have, right?
Oh, most definitely. Like I've been trying to get everything together so we can get back to it.
Definitely, definitely. So glad to have Blaze back. I'm glad Blaze is safe
Thank
and
you.
stuff
Thank you.
like that. Definitely, definitely. So, just make sure, as we're going through this life, y'all, just, don't let things, like, worst case scenario things or wherever like that be the only thing that brings you together as a family or as a village. Always be willing to take out the time and just love on one another whenever you can. Because life be life in at times and we don't have control of it a lot of times. So, but without further ado, let's get on into it. All
Let's
right.
get into it.
Um, just in case y'all forgot, how we pop off our episodes, we jump into a little this or that, a while back on our last episode, which would be a part two-ish to this episode, a part one to this part two-ish episode. The last episode that you should be listening to will be our first kind of thoughts on the Love is Blind season four um, opening a few episodes, so to speak. And so, since time has passed, we're going to be recapping on that and everything, and then touching on the other things as we usually do during our real take segment as we get to it. So, but as I said, as I was briefly going over, as we usually do, we got to jump into the this and that. Okay. And Blaze, I think I got one for you, and I don't think you are ready, sister.
All right, let's go.
All
Because you
right.
know I stay ready.
Okay. Okay. We're gonna see. We're gonna see. We're gonna see. Would you rather spend 24 hours in a full out high powered Jumanji game? And I'm talking
Mm-hmm.
about Robin Williams, like we don't know if we're gonna make it scenario, okay?
Oh, okay.
Or
hmm
would you like to be within the jungle with Mowgli as far as when it comes to the Jungle Book?
First of all, both of these are horrible options. Because I don't like animals. I don't like nature. Horrible. Um, I mean, if we going with the Robin Williams, Jumanji,
Mm-hmm.
maybe Jumanji.
Ooh,
I don't know. I think I go with Jumanji.
okay.
You know, I forgot which this or that it was, but like I'm gonna just find a place to hide
Yeah.
and I'll be all right.
I think it was the Upside Down or
Yeah.
what was the other one?
Oh, and X-Men.
Yes, yes, yes. But no, I
I
would
just
choose.
found Yeah, I just found a place to hide.
Yeah, I feel you. I would do the same thing just because, like, what was that? Yeah, Jumanji. At least you're in your world. You can go high
hmm
places. You can be in your house. It's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be
That's what I was
spooky.
thinking about too. Like the time period of the Jungle Book is old. Like,
Yeah,
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 I'm
yeah.
good on that.
Oh man, well, cool, well, cool. All right, well. I guess we'll move on along to the watch list. Blaze, what's on your watch list? What you've been watching? What you got next coming up? What you got?
Okay. Last night I went ahead and watched the new Power Rangers, like kind of reunion thing, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, Once and Always. And it was really cute. Like it definitely gave me, those old school 90s Mighty Morphin vibes. It was
Yeah.
cool how I did kind of expect like them to bring in like other Power Rangers. They brought in the ones from like season 2 of Mighty Morphin, so like the second
Okay.
Red Ranger and the second Yellow Ranger.
Okay.
But I thought it would be like more people that would jump in, and it
Mhm.
was pretty short. It was like 55 minutes long,
I
so
saw
it
that. I haven't watched it, but
yeah
I did see that. Yeah.
it felt like a normal Power Ranger episode, but just like a part one, part two type of thing.
Mm,
um the way they handle trans death was really good, as well as like the other rangers from the original Mighty Morphins that you
mhm.
don't see in the trailers. They
Yeah.
handle that well as well, and I won't give that away
Yeah.
because I don't think you watched it yet.
No, I haven't. I'm looking forward to it. You
Okay.
got me excited though, for real.
Yeah. It's a really quick watch, and I think you'll like it.
That's dope. That's dope. Yeah.
Yeah.
When I saw that on there, I was like, oh man, I would have loved to have seen it and talked about it, but life been life and so I'm catching.
Uh-huh.
So
Yeah.
but no, I'm really ready to see that.
Recently Peacock released a movie called Praise This with
Hmm.
Chloe Bailey, and a couple other people as well. And it's kind of like a gospel, or I don't want to say even churchy movie, but along those vibes of like Fighting Temptation, Joyful Noise, kind of
Okay.
that vibe.
Okay.
It was a really good movie. It reminded me a lot of Pitch Perfect, but for gospel music.
Interesting.
Um, but Chloe was really good in it. Her acting, because we also saw her in Swarm, and
Right.
she's also in, or was in Grownish. But like her acting is, I don't think she gets enough credit for her acting. She's
Hmm.
really good.
Dope. I can believe it. I mean, I will say in Swarm, like the brief time that well, semi-brief, because they used her in very unique ways throughout the film. And I appreciate that because I kind of, it's kind of unfortunate sometimes when you see some films and it's like say Chris Brown was in Stump the Yard, who ironically, the same producer who did that, did Praise This, Will Packer.
Mhm.
Uh, he was in it, and this is Chris Brown, and I enjoyed him in I think it was called This Christmas. I think that was the name of it.
Mhm.
And he was in there a few minutes and then he was killed, you know what I'm saying? And so I really will say that I did like how they were finding ways to still incorporate Chloe's character
Yeah.
throughout, the series. That was very
Yeah.
unique.
I
But
got a funny story about Chris Brown and Stuff the Yard.
oh goodness.
So when I went to go see that movie with my friends, we got
Yeah,
to the theater late, and everybody was there. It's Pine Bluff, so it's only one movie theater.
right.
Everybody was there. So by the time we got into the theater, the
Mhm.
movie already started. Mind you, we only went to go see the movie because my two best friends loved Chris Brown. And so we sat down at the point where he was murdered. And my
Oh,
friend was devastated. She was like, "Wait, Chris Brown not in the rest of the movie?" No,
oh
no.
man. Dang. Yeah, they got him, man. And it's so funny, like, man, that movie was a hit. It was really big for Will Packer. For those of you who don't know who Will Packer is, he's a producer, film producer. He been in it for a while. He started off with like the 12 films and everything like that. He did another faith-based film as well. I almost want to say Boris Kojo was in that film. I don't know if I ever seen it. But Stump the Yard was like the one who really kind of skyrocketed his career. So after that, he did Almost Christmas. Uh he did dang, why am I going blank? He did Think Like a Man 2, Wedding Ringer. Um what's the film with Ice Cube and Kevin Hart? What's the name of that?
Right along.
Ride Along 2. He did Straight Outta Compton. So he's done a lot of films. He
That
kind of,
resume.
yeah, he got it, man, and he transitioned to like reality TV recently, and he's been having a few seasons, I think, on the OWN network as well. Um, so
Speaking
yeah, so
of reality TV,
you said what?
I said, speaking of reality TV,
Uh-oh.
I'm gonna go through these really quick. So, Queen's Court is on Peacock. I think Will Packer, Will Smith, somebody named Will is a producer on it. But that show it has Evelyn, Nivea, and Tamar
Yeah.
basically trying to find love and stuff. It's a really good show, a
Mm,
good reality love show.
mm,
I put Summer House on here, but I really didn't put it on here to talk about Summer House. So Summer House, for those who don't know, is a reality show on Bravo about this group of friends that on the weekends each summer they get a summer house in the Hamptons and hang out. It's kind of like Jersey Shore, but Jersey Shore if they went home during the week and did their normal jobs and stuff.
uh,
Um, but the reason why I wanted to talk about it is because they're finally getting a summer house that's going to feature an all black cast. It's going to
mm.
be called Summer House Martha's Vineyard. And
Oh,
so
wow.
yeah. And I can't remember, is it Oak Bluff, something like that, like the really rich black island that's in that area in the Martha's Vineyard area. So
Wow.
I'm really excited about that. It's supposed to drop on the first episode May 7th. So I'm
Mm,
really, really excited because Summer House is one of the big reality shows on Bravo. And
mm,
so it's exciting to see the opportunity for black people to be showcased more because typically on Summer House it's like only one or two black people.
mm. That's dope. That's
Yeah,
good. Being intentional about that. That's what's up.
yeah.
That's what's up. Well, that's dope, Blaze. You got a pretty good list over there
Mm-hmm.
and stuff.
Yeah.
So, and of course, I see, you got Love is Blind, which will be, of course, we're going to be talking about that as well. As
Mm-hmm.
far as my list, I finally took a dive into Blood and Water, and I have truly blood.
I was trying to sing it. Blood
It was,
wash.
it's been really dope, man. I've been smiling ear to ear. Like the writing is really good, the acting
Mm-hmm.
is great, storyline is great, the evolution from what it started off as in season one to how it's done seamlessly transition into um season three. Right now, I'm at the top of season three. I don't know. I can't remember if I finished the first episode or not, but pretty much I'm at the episode where well, I can't say at the moment, but just we'll Blaze, we'll talk about it. We'll talk about
Okay.
it.
Yeah. No,
But
I
either
like Blood and Water. That's a
yeah,
good one. That's a real good one. Although I like that you said it kind of progresses from like the first season to the next season. If somebody asked me what the show is about, I would probably have difficulty explaining it. And all I could say is it's good, you need to watch it.
right. Exactly. Like, please watch. And I'm glad I did stop because I don't want to spoil it for you all. It's an easy watch. The first season is only like 6 episodes. I think the second season is 7, and then I think it's 6 for the third season. So I don't know how it ends. So I don't know if they're gonna continue or not, or how or whatever. But I will say like the story writing and the production is awesome. I will honestly say it's been one of my favorite shows in a long time. I don't think I've been as pulled in and really bought in with the show outside of anime maybe since All American. So I've really been enjoying this and stuff like that. But yeah, really dope. Highly recommend. Aja and I finally took a chance on Assassination Classroom. There's 2 seasons to it. We finished the first one, and we was looking confused because it was like, I know the season was short, but where's the other season at? I mean, I know the show was short, but where's the other season? And so basically found out that apparently last year they took off the second season from Hulu, and so we're now having to finally start a subscription with Crunchyroll, and now that's the only way we're going to be able to finish it. So,
Oh,
Assassination Classroom is pretty cool. It's literally what it says. Like basically, these students have been given the obligation of killing their professor, well, killing their
oh,
teacher. Yeah, and they have to kill their professor by or their teacher before the full academic year is over with. So,
what
um,
the?
yeah, and the thing is, the teacher knows that they are supposed to be trying to kill him, and everybody in the whole administration knows. It's just like that's actually basically the principal and the whole school board is giving this class the task of doing this.
Not the whole school board.
Yes, it's I say that because I don't want to spoil where is this all coming from or whatever, because like literally it's kind of like blood and water. You really don't really get the significance of it until you watch it, and he's like, oh, okay, I get where you're coming from. So
I want to say Sarisa told me to watch Assassination Classroom.
yeah, you should. I mean, it's a quick watch. It's fully dubbed on both platforms. And
Oh, you
because
had me at fully dubbed because I don't do them subtitles.
oh my gosh.
Because
Oh
every now and then on Netflix, they'll recommend me an anime since I watched the first season of Dragon Slayer on there, or not Dragon Slayer, Demon Slayer. And I be like, and it'll, you know how on Netflix they do the preview and stuff, and they
yeah.
start just having the dub. I'm like, nope.
Oh. Oh man, you need to you'll like it. Like once you get into it, you'll like it. What I was gonna say. Oh, so the plan was to finish Assassination Classroom and then start Attack on Titan. That's what we were gonna do. But then one of my students came up to me, if not yesterday, day before yesterday, and was dang near pretty much was like begging me to go ahead and start Demon Slayer because apparently the first episode really drops a lot of things on you to where you're like, wow, like wow.
Where are they posting the new season?
So apparently, oh, that's what I meant to mention. Apparently, we're going to have to watch it on Crunchyroll. Like it's not on Hulu.
Hmm.
Yeah, so I think they're dropping one each week. I don't know how many episodes are going to be in the season, but they're dropping one each week, and I think 3 episodes are up so far. So,
Speaking
so yeah.
of Demon Slayer, at one point, like going through all this stuff with the tornado, I was like, dang, I see how Tanjiro feel. I need a little water breathing to get through.
Man, just don't talk too much to yourself about it.
Right, right.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. Yeah, man. Like, we'll see. I mean, I'm not as upset about it. I will say I wasn't expecting to jump on another dang subscription service. I really appreciate the fact that it was all in one because at first Crunchyroll was associated with HBO Max, and then they got rid of that. And then of course we
Mhm.
had anime on Hulu, but then they're not uploading them, you know, currently right now. So it's just like whatever. So yeah, so doing Crunchyroll or wherever like that for now, which is cool because I mean we like anime and they got a lot of content on there and it's not like it's a waste of money at all. So but cool. Other than that, reality TV show wise, been invested in American Idol. I used to tell people at the beginning of this has been like I've never been deep into American Idol. If anything, like I used to love just getting on YouTube and just watching the auditions. And if I came across somebody that sounded really good, either I could keep up with them on social media, or I might try to see an episode after it aired. Um, but I saw so many good talent, so much good talent during the auditions. I just wanted to check it out, and man, like I told Audrey, I said I really do feel like nothing against the past winners and other people, but I felt that this season had to be the most talent they had ever had. And to be the age that they are and all the stuff like that. And man, they hurt my feelings. America hurt my feelings the other night, man. Like when I say they got rid of like three like easily could be stars. Like
Well,
it's
one person got to win. Only one person can win.
it's interesting, and you know I won't get deep into it, but you know I would just say that I personally feel, and I may be wrong, but I almost question the motives of the voting because literally some people who have been left out, it really doesn't make any sense at all. And those who have stayed in, not saying that they're not talented enough to stay in, but I'm pretty sure they even know, and they put in the hard work as well, but they know that some of the people who went home are like extremely talented, you know, not taking away from those who are there, but it's just been very, very interesting to see how it goes, you know, and stuff. But anyway, um, on another note, we do have two people from Arkansas who have made the top 12.
Nice, nice.
So we're gonna see how that all plays out. And lastly, I guess it's more like a game show. You know, I think I mentioned, you know, Kev on Stage before. I listened to he and Angel's podcast. Here's the thing, along with Josh, and I really enjoy supporting him and seeing, you know, how his career has grown, all this stuff like that. And so he has a streaming service called the Kev on Stage Studio app. And one of the recent game shows that's been live lately is Factor Cap. And so basically, how it works is that you know you have I think four um, panelists, if you will, that are above these tokened sections. And so you have two contestants that's going against each other. And so Kev asks a question, and then they get to pick who they want to give the answer. And then they have to say if it's fact or cap or not.
Hmm.
And so it was kind of weird at first, kind of getting into it. But then I think the game has kind of grown on me because it's just like, why would they not give the right answer? But it's not that they not giving the right answer. It's just like they just have the answer and you have to believe, you have to trust them or if they get the answer right or not. So,
It's kind
uh,
of like that card game, BS, where
mhm.
I can't remember exactly how to play it, but at a certain point you can call BS on somebody and they have to reveal their cards. And if you're right and they were just capping, then you win or you get their cards, something like that.
Mhm.
Um, and if you're wrong, then you lose, something like that. It's been a while since I played, but
Yeah, it's
that's what it sounds like.
definitely similar to that because if you get it right, saying cap or fact, you'll get a coin, and then vice versa. And whoever gets three coins, it's kind of like tic tac toe. Whoever get three coins in a row, you win that round. And
Oh,
then,
cool.
so you got to just win twice. So it's pretty cool. It's other comedians and you know friends of theirs or whatever that's a part of it. And it's pretty dang cool. So highly recommend. So now on to the real take. We got a few things that I felt was pretty interesting. First off, I saw this, I believe, yesterday. Apparently, an Egyptian lawyer is suing Netflix for casting a black actress for the portrayal of Cleopatra. It's kind of like a docu-series, but it's reenactments. I haven't watched it, but I've just seen the trailer or whatever. But I found that very interesting, and also kind of unfortunate, and I also kind of wonder what, like, why out of all the things that's been done over the years, why at this moment they decided to come at Netflix for this project.
Yeah. And my question too is, are Netflix the distributors or are they the production company behind the documentary? Because I know
Well,
a lot of times, sometimes they get that confused and they have misplaced,
mhm.
I don't want to say anger, but like they target the wrong person for stuff.
Yeah. So apparently, Jada Pinkett Smith is a producer or executive producer for this. So I
Hmm.
don't know if it was a partnership on production as far as like, you know, Netflix had, skin in the game along with Westbrook Productions, which is
Mhm.
in Will Smith's company or not. But it definitely seemed more along the lines of a Netflix original, just how it was done. I haven't looked back on it or whatever, but um, some of the comments and stuff like that was pretty interesting. I saw some on the opposite side or whatever as well. And we'll have to get deep into it. But, I will say, just in this day and time, with so many things that's being revealed and so many truths that's coming out,
Mhm.
um, stuff like this is just, unfortunate. Instead of like going straight for money, why isn't there like a conversation,
Mhm.
about this? You know what I'm saying? Like, if you really want to resolve or bring light, or correct someone, why are we not having a meeting or having to sit down about this instead of just, oh, I'm just gonna sue? You know what I'm saying? Because
Right.
like, okay, if you sue, is everybody in Egypt gonna get their money? No, they're not, you know.
Right. Right. Who benefits from this case?
Yes, yes, exactly. So, and it's just like, some people's like, well, where were y'all at when, all these other portrayals of Cleopatra was done, other than black people? Like, why did the black actress have to be the one who took on this opportunity, had to be,
Mhm.
get punishment or get pushed back, you know what I'm saying? So, um, found that very interesting and unfortunate, so, but yeah, but moving right on. Unfortunately, I guess I'm starting off with semi tough news, and then we're gonna get into some interesting
Yeah,
stuff.
you just ripping the band-aid off.
Yeah, like just you know. But so I know while it was a few episodes ago, we talked about some kind of like reboot uh movies to shows that were gaining interest in different platforms and stuff like that. And one of those was the reboot of the Wood film. And so apparently there was a slate of series that were going to be produced, I believe, on Showtime. And unfortunately, they decided to cancel the production of those shows. And one of them, unfortunately, was The Wood. So apparently, right now, unless things change or unless I missed it, the Wood series will not be produced. So,
Mm.
uh, you know, um, I will
That's
say
unfortunate.
it's very unfortunate, and I feel for like the people who thought they had a job. You know what I'm saying? I think that's the thing that really hits me. It's like, dang, like I couldn't imagine, somebody, the nostalgia moment from some of the people who are part of the original, film that was going to be a part of this, and and stuff like this sometimes like literally gives a reboot to people's careers,
Mhm.
and so especially those actors and actresses that are from, the 90s that we grew up with and stuff. So I really hope things work out for those, in front of and behind the camera and everything. But yeah, it was very unfortunate. So I know this is gonna be interesting. I'm ready to actually talk more about this. Because if I'm not mistaken, I think I actually mentioned a while back, like, Blaze, I really feel like if they want to really switch some things up with Harry Potter, they should start a series. You remember that, Blaze?
Mhm. I
You remember?
do. They listening. The feds listening.
I said, Blaze, I think they need to do a series, and then boom, what do you
What do
know?
you know?
Right there. Now, this is what shook me though. I said reboot and then tell other stories that are in the wizarding world.
More like a continuation than a reboot.
More like a continuation, similar to how they did the Fantastic Beasts.
Mhm.
But they was like, no, we're gonna do you one even better. We're gonna take it back. We're gonna give you a new Harry, a new Hermione, and a new Ron. And you just gonna have
No.
to take it. And I'm
I
like,
don't want that. I'm sorry. I don't. Like it's such a classic already. It's literally a movie that some people will watch once a month. It's
yes,
it's unnecessary. it ended only what 10 years ago.
Mhm.
It's not a need for a reboot. I can see, like you said, a continuation. Yes. Like this puts me in mind of how many times they kept changing Spider-Man. But what I will say is that at least with Spider-Man, they chose different villains each time they rebooted. So it wasn't as annoying. And when you think about like, Sony, Marvel, like the reasons why it was so
Yeah,
many
yeah,
reboots and stuff,
yes,
it's justified. But this Harry Potter, it seems more like a financial gain more so than let's do something great with this series,
yeah.
especially amidst the drama around the author. But I won't get into that.
Yeah, I was very surprised when I realized that they were gonna be doing that because I'm like, man, like you said, like it's not even 20 years old. I was extremely surprised that they were willing to do that because, like you said, like literally, especially close around close to the end of the year when it starts getting cold, everything like that. Like somebody's having a Harry Potter marathon somewhere.
Hmm.
And so I'm very interested to see how they're going to go about doing this and still keep um, the fans happy about this. Because people talk about it all the time how sometimes very big, like very strong um fans of the Star Wars franchise, like when they're upset about things or they don't feel like they're gonna like things that are going on, like you're gonna hear from it. And sometimes it's not unfair and they're very mean. And I just, this is very bold, and I do wish them well with this. I hope whoever is casted, they have a great experience. But I do hope it ends up turning to one of those things to where it's like a continuous thing. Like, okay, yeah, we hear your characters. This is what happened. Da 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 da. Okay, now we moving on. And it can be maybe an experience that kind of what we're finally getting now with Game of Thrones. How now we're getting the prequels and stuff like that. So,
Hmm.
um, because I still need to get into Lord of the Rings, but apparently it's like even though that's been one of the most expensive, if not the most expensive series ever produced by Amazon, apparently it seems like it really just didn't gain that much interest um, of the fans or wherever like that or whatever. Or it's kind of one of those things. Yeah, they watched, they liked, they appreciated, but it wasn't like a craze seemed like about it, or at
Yeah,
least
because we want another season of Wheel of Time. Spend money on that.
yeah. Like I'm surprised like we haven't heard much about that. So I hope we'll be getting something from that soon. I have a coworker that's been really deep into the books. She actually said that she finished the last book not too long ago. So
Oh wow.
so
I
yes.
heard that the books, and I mean the show itself too, is very ahead of its time. Um, so and you can see that too in the first season, like the
Yeah,
way that the women are in power and stuff.
true, true,
Pretty
true.
dope.
But it's just like what I enjoyed is just like it's not forced though. Like I feel like they're supposed to be there. You know what I'm saying? Like it doesn't. It's not like a trying to keep up with society as far as like trying to get an attention grabber. Like I really feel like they're supposed to be there. It makes sense. Can't see nobody else leading. It's just smooth, and that's why I enjoyed it.
Hmm.
And it's for those of us who haven't read the books, I also feel like it's not as predictable as well. So the story
Hmm.
is really good. So and I love the characters in it. So but hopefully we'll get it back. Blaze, did you hear about what's happening with another reboot?
I did not.
Apparently, if you all have missed, I feel like it was a big announcement that could have easily been missed if you just not really in the loop of keeping up with films. But Moana is getting a live action green light.
Oh. I know they just green lighted like Lilo and Stitch. I didn't know they did Moana as well.
Yes, so Dwayne The Rock Johnson did a very short video about basically, the meaning behind the culture of, where he comes from as far as his Samoan, heritage and everything like that. And basically, that he looks forward to reprising his role in the live action. And then he also mentioned that they're in an earlier stage of, getting everything done. And so, but yeah,
I really like that movie. That's probably one of my favorite, or no, that's my favorite, like of this new generation of Disney movies. So I'm
yeah.
excited about that. Plus, I hope that The Rock brings his fine cousins from WWE to be in the movie too, because I will definitely be seated.
The Uso brothers and
Yes,
all.
please bring the Usos.
Hey man, I mean they could be dope. I wouldn't be against them because it's so fresh. It's like why not kind of do a little bit something new, a little different in there, and I feel
Mm-hmm.
like it wouldn't take away from the story. So
Right.
I think it's gonna be. I think the success is definitely gonna be big on, of course, the animation, um, with playing with water and all this stuff like that. But I feel like even more so whoever plays Moana is gonna have a big, 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 big task in
Mm-hmm.
this. 'Cause even though I feel like Moana was very lovable and everything like that, I do feel like um, things around her kind of made the film what it is.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but at the same time, it's definitely going to be a big task. But I do agree that is my favorite of like this newer generation of Disney movies that has came out. I haven't really came across any others that really just got me there. Some that I'm still
Well,
behind.
is Coco considered Disney? No, Coco is considered Pixar.
Coco is Pixar.
Okay, so then Coco is my favorite Pixar of this
Okay.
new generation.
Oh yeah, yeah, we're tit for tat. Look at that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's going on. Apparently Star Wars did something kind of like a Comic-Con type of announcement about the future of their franchise. And so, I'm behind a little bit. Unfortunately, I still have to watch Boba Fett before I watch the newest season of Mandalorian, which I've been really excited to check out. And so they pretty much have announced, that they're going to be going, back in time to show us things. I think one of them is called, I think one of the movies may have been called like the Old Republic. And if I'm not mistaken, this is when there wasn't a two pair when it comes to the Sith. Like it was a lot of Sith back in the day, kind of like the Jedi. And they had wars and all this stuff like that. So I'm really excited to see things back in the day, like I've talked about with like Harry Potter and stuff like that with Star Wars, because they talk about so much in the past and how it used to be, and kind of almost like the vibes of Game of Thrones, like it just seems so magical, so unique, so intense
Mm-hmm.
that where it's like, man, I want to see those things. And so I'm really looking forward to seeing where Star Wars takes it. But one of the most important things that they are getting ready to make in the leading up films is that Rey will be the new Master Jedi in the future.
Oh wow. Okay.
So yeah, so I'm glad to hear that because I do feel like character development wise, there was still some things that was lacking for some of us when it um came to her role and everything like that, especially getting new lightsabers at the end. I'm glad that, we'll be able to see a little bit more of Rey. So are you fully caught up on everything outside the shows?
Not the shows, no.
Mhm. We need to work on
No, not at all. Like not even close.
that.
Not even close. And you keep on naming different shows, and I'm like, wait a minute, wait a minute. What happened to Clone Wars, and
Yeah.
The Mandalorian? We got other shows too.
Yeah. Well, at least just jump on Clone Wars and then we'll get to everything else. We'll get to everything else. So, uh, another thing that was cool that I did see, is that Billy Porter is supposed to be starring in the biopic of James Baldwin.
Mm-hmm. I saw it.
And so I haven't seen Billy Porter in as much, I don't think, but at the same time, I know he brings really great energy to other things that I've seen him in, especially live action or like reality stuff. And so I'm very interested to see because I do feel like James Baldwin is a very complex character, and especially comparing like his career then and things that he said in interviews and stuff like that, and how that's going to be applied and shown. So yeah, I think they're in the early phases of that. I don't know if the writing of it is completely done or where that is, but yeah, James
They
Baldwin.
going crazy with the biopics.
They are, and you know what? I love it because it's some type of originality. Nothing against the other studios who do, these reboots and stuff like that. But I love me a great biopic. I
Yeah.
really, truly do. So yeah, especially someone about James Baldwin. I feel like he's definitely someone in Black history that we definitely give credit to at times, whether it's like a quote or his work. I mean, even
Mm-hmm.
if Bill Street Could Talk, that was based off of one of his novels and stuff like
Mm-hmm.
that, and the documentary, made is based off of his work as well. I Am Not Your Negro. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's been very impactful, so I'm glad that that's finally happening. Last before we jump into Love Is Blind, the series Them, which is a original series off of Amazon Prime, is finally getting a season 2. Okay. It's called Them, The Scare, and it's going to be set in 1991 this time. So I'm very interested to see what type of relations or stories are going to be in this one, especially when it's compared or connected to, Rodney King and everything like that around that time. Because I believe, if I'm not mistaken, what happened to him happened maybe in 1991. I may be
I think
wrong.
it happened in 92.
It was in 92.
I could be wrong.
Let me check. It may have been actually, yeah, I think you may be right. I know it's
No, it
99.
was 1991.
Okay. Yeah. So this is going to be very interesting to see if they're going to touch bases on that, because I do think one of the characters I briefly saw was going to be associated with the police force some type of way. So the
Oh,
first,
1992 was when the trial happened and they had the LA riots. That's what it
okay.
was.
Okay. Gotcha. Yeah. Blaze, did you ever get to see them?
No.
I definitely recommend that. For those of you who have watched, um, what's the name of that show? Lovecraft Country. I believe like this is kind of almost in that same space. I will say it's more on the thriller side. It's not as creepy as I thought it was going to be, which in a sense I say in a good way, because it doesn't take away from the story and making it feel like they're always trying to do the jump scare stuff. But I mean, it is a thriller. It does have some kind of creep-ish moments. But I will say at the end of the day, story-wise, it really gets you in there and stuff like that, and it's really good. Pretty intense at times. Um, but more so on the supernatural side and stuff like that. Of course, dealing with some racial relations when it comes to Black experiences and stuff. I can't remember the time period of that, but if I would have had to guess, I think it would be between the,
Isn't it like the 50s?
yeah, I'm gonna say 40s and the 60s. So yeah, so probably around there. So, but cool. So Blaze, it's that time to jump on Love Is Blind season 4.
Mm-hmm.
So it's, like I said, it's been a little while, but for y'all, it's gonna be back to back, because this will be pretty much part 2 when it comes to talking about Love Is Blind. Blaze, let's just jump into the reunion. I mean, everybody knows what has happened and everything like that, so we don't have to recap. But overall, like, what were your thoughts when it came to like who said yes, who said no, and then just some things that stood out to you, during the reunion.
Um, I thought it was interesting, especially like once the reunion and all these different interviews came out, that the liberties that the production company, I think the production company is called Kinetic, the liberties that they took with the edits, for example, trying to create a narrative that Jackie cheated on Marshall
Mhm.
when all they had to do was address that at the reunion, which they did. And so, like, my thing is, like, was that worth it? Was that worth creating that narrative when all they were going to do is say, yeah, that's not how it happened?
Yeah.
So I thought stuff like that was interesting. In terms of the reunion, for a show about love, I think that Vanessa was a little biased, and because of that bias, she kind of paid more attention to things that could bring in some drama
Hmm.
instead of like more of the love aspect, because we didn't get that much of Tiffany and Brett, for example. When we did focus on the other couples, Kwame and Chelsea, Zach and Bliss, it was more about the drama surrounding them and like a small percentage about their love for each other, and it would have been nice to just get more of that, because we want, when we get to the reunion, we want to see, is love truly blind? Like, are y'all good? Y'all happy? Y'all love each other? Like, what's, we want to know more so about that
Hmm.
than, I mean, and it's not that we don't want them to address what happened, during the show, but I would rather see more about like their life now. And I know that's what After the Altar is a lot about, but I still think there should be a good segment or a good moment at the reunion for that. Um, Also, Netflix should never try to do a live reunion
Uh,
again. I don't know if you ever checked out Deepthi and Natalie from season 2 of Love is Blind
mm,
podcast, Out of the Pods, but they talked about how, because they've talked to like producers and stuff on the show, the difference between doing it live and doing it pre-recorded is that pre-recorded, they can ask more questions and they can just edit down to the stuff that will be good for TV. But when it's live, they can't really dive deep into stuff, and people are on such high alert because they don't want to be judged in that moment. It's one thing to be judged later on, but in that moment it's like, I may not make it out the building.
yeah.
So they shouldn't do it live again, or attempt to do it live again. That wasn't fun.
Yeah, that's very interesting. Even going back mainly what you were saying about like the love aspect. Um, yeah, I will say like because even though Chelsea and Kwame, which I feel like were one of the surprises,
Yeah.
whole entire series to a certain degree, um, they didn't really kind of hold on, like really kind of stay within the realm. Okay, yeah, y'all went through this, but how has it been? How have y'all grown? Because I was
Hmm.
very interested to know, okay, like, because how the show portrayed it's like, okay, he's really like not liking the fact about moving and all this stuff like that. And then we get more details of why,
Hmm.
and then, but we don't really get to see how things have been going. Okay. I really love the
Hmm.
fact that we finally found out that Chelsea got to meet his mom.
Right.
It was very exciting because I know it seemed like that was very pressing, on them and on him. And I can only imagine, you really, loving someone and want to have a life with them, but then you respect and love your family, and your family was first. Um, and so I definitely agree with that because I think it really started to show and what people kind of start getting drained on. We just stayed on Paul and what's her name?
Micah.
And Micah's situation way too long.
Way too long. Like the most, or like their couple that probably got the least amount, in my opinion, of screen time, throughout the season. How did they get the most screen time at the reunion? Like, respectfully, nobody cared about their relationship because like Natalie on the podcast, she keeps talking about how we see how the other couples are like going. We really get to see into this
Mhm.
experiment with them. But with Micah and Paul, it was very surface level. And so I don't understand how we spend so much time on them.
Exactly. Yeah, I was really surprised about that. I mean, I will say um that there were some lessons within their relationship and how things were going on, because I will say, like, watching at times when she would mention a couple things, he used to be quick to be like, yeah, nope, that's a no-brainer, or nope, I can't do that. And I would think to myself, like, man, if you're trying to make this work, you got to bend on something. But then, or at least give a reason why, not just be so cutthroat. But then it transitioned to like, well, he'll say no, and then he was like, well, I wouldn't say this, I'll just say, this, that, and the third, or I have to think about it, talk about it. So, I will say, even though he wasn't as much as a complex person in the series, I did see him grow.
Yeah,
And I
I
felt
like
like,
Paul actually.
yeah, Paul was cool, and I will say, like, because Audrey and I kept on saying that, almost kind of seemed like they were homeboy and homegirl more than them.
Yes. Yes.
WWE until close to the end, like close, I would say halfway or close to the end, where Paul, like, really, he's like, man, he's really all in. I want you and everything like that. He ain't about to move to Arizona, but he's all in.
Yeah. I mean, I said that maybe episode 2 or 3. I was like, they giving me homie vibes, not you the love of my life.
Yeah, yeah. So I don't know. Like, it's very unfortunate. I will say that I was surprised about him saying, well, I was surprised about how he was acting, as if he just really didn't know. And I'm like, how? Like, you really was just really into her. But then when she hit him with the, I'm gonna let him go first, I was like, boy, say no.
And I got something to say about that. So, like I said, I listened to Natalie and Deepti's podcast, and what I like about their podcast is it does give you insight because they went through the experiment before,
Mhm.
and they said that they tell their producer, if they're going to say yes or no, and the producers decide who goes first at the actual ceremony. They tell the minister or whatever, like, tell this person to speak first. And so I've been wondering since I found that out, did she say that because she knew because the producer came to her and said, you're gonna go first? And she was like, if I'm going first, that means he must be saying no. So he not about to embarrass me. I'm gonna let him go ahead and say it. Like that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. I will say, her doing that, in my personal opinion, kind of showed her personality, is that, like, she gets the attention, that she's used to getting the attention. I may be wrong, but she may be the only child or whatever like that, as well, maybe. If I'm wrong, my bad. But
I'm gonna be
anyway,
honest, I didn't really pay that much attention to them. So
yeah,
if they had like a meet the family and we met siblings, don't remember
yeah.
them.
I mean, I think I remember Micah meeting his mom
I
and
remember that, but
and
I don't
everything.
remember her family.
I remember briefly because I think they met at a restaurant. It was a whole thing about, because her dad's name is Paul too, and
Oh,
stuff.
okay.
And so, but yeah, I don't know. I don't think they just show her in a good light. Like,
Yeah.
when it comes, like, me just thinking as being married, like, at some point you got to be bold for the love that you want.
Yep.
And so, and if you can't be like, I'm only gonna love somebody if they're loving me back, kind of,
Right.
and that's what they kind of showed to me.
Mm-hmm.
And so, of course, you know, what's Bliss' husband's name?
Zach.
Of course, Zach has mentioned things about, there's more to it and everything like that. And I'm not gonna get into, like, trying to bash anybody at all.
Mm-hmm.
But I was very interested in just knowing, or curious about, what was making him go from, like, I'm all in, to, like, yeah, I don't know, and I don't see this and I don't see that, and stuff like that. So, but yeah, they definitely lingered on it too long.
Yeah.
Uh, how did you feel about Vanessa's, compared to all the other stuff she, was talking about, with the rest of the cast? Um, how did you feel about her moment with Jackie and, what's his name? uh
Marshall or Josh.
and Josh.
Yeah. I mean, back to being the bias. Like if you're gonna be a host, you have to remove bias. You have to be objective. And I think she was very biased. Like when she was talking to Jackie and Josh, she was very nice and supportive. But when she was talking to Marshall, it just felt very, I don't know if aggressive is the right word, but that's the word I'm gonna use right now because I can't think of anything else. It just felt very aggressive, like
Yeah.
relax. And I mean, Marshall said something that I liked. He was like, they're not here, and so I don't. Basically, he didn't feel comfortable really addressing the situation because they're not here to defend themselves. It's a one-sided conversation, and so had he responded in the way Vanessa was trying to get him to respond, he would have looked like, the villain, the bad guy.
Real bit.
And that would have been unnecessary for, him and really hurt his character.
Yeah. Yeah, like I really did appreciate him saying that or whatever. And like, he was honest. He was like, well, that was kind of a lot there. I'm still trying to process at the moment, and that's that live part, you know what I'm saying? And she was like, well, okay, well, let me help you. And it's like,
Right. That was rude. Let me help you. I got the card. Yes, because you have been able to process it. You filmed it. I'm watching this in the moment and you want me to comment on it. I it's just not fair. It wasn't fair to him when everybody else, like for example, Kwame and Micah and Chelsea, they had a dialogue. He couldn't
mhm.
have a dialogue.
No, no, he couldn't. And I would say honestly, if they wasn't able to show up or be live, even on YouTube, on Zoom, if they wasn't able to be live during the thing, like they should have kept that to
They
be
should have, because that video was like a waste of time.
a waste of time, and I don't know what was going on or where the case may be, but I mean, at the end of the day, it made them look like a cop out. Like y'all should have been there. There's no reason why y'all shouldn't have been there, and it should have been. It is what it is. And so, I don't know. That one really kind of threw me off a little bit with Marshall, but I do feel like he handled it pretty well. Sometimes people have a hard time just realizing that, like, hey, like this was a year ago or close to a year ago, and like they mentally, probably moved on or been trying to get over it and all this stuff like that. Um,
Mhm.
but yeah, so
Apparently, he
but
has a girlfriend too. So
you said what?
I said he has a girlfriend now too. So he
I
definitely. So
Yeah, we saw that he had one. I think he was just acting as if he wasn't sure how ready he was as far as like being either public about it or just how much he feel like he's ready to be just I don't know. It was kind of confusing how he's trying to say it because he kind of made it like he's trying to balance this whole thing of being a public figure kind of vibe and
yeah.
then balancing a personal life because she's a very, private person.
Hmm.
So yeah, man. But
Understandable.
overall,
And then
I
don't forget about Bliss and Zach. For the couple that was together the shortest,
yeah,
I knew that they were both gonna say yes.
me too. Me
Yeah.
too. Yeah,
And
yeah.
they look so happy, like they look so comfortable with each other. It's very
Mhm.
cute to look at.
Yeah, yeah. I was really happy that they worked out. I mean, who would ever thought, you know what I'm saying? But they definitely feel like a good match with one another. And then the more that Bliss talks about herself and we learn more about her, I can see how he ended up being the one that she truly wanted,
Hmm.
and I'm glad that that has worked out. And it's kind of crazy. I mean, from my understanding, I think this is the most, even though all these weird things happen, this is the most successful
Yeah.
love line, you know.
Hmm.
And so hopefully,
Yeah.
I honestly feel like they will last personally, you
I
know.
hope so. I feel like all three of the couples will
Yeah,
last.
yeah, me too. Yeah, me too. Me too. I definitely feel good about it, and stuff. And just to, kind of do a wrap up on this, apparently there's a petition. I think it's almost reached maybe 40,000 signatures at this point, but basically they're petitioning to get Nick Lachey and Vanessa to step down as the future host, which I think they're currently in production right now for a new Love is Blind. I think it's maybe taking place in DC, maybe.
Mhm.
Uh, but besides that, people are really pushing to try to get the Speeds to be the next host, which honestly,
Is
not
it
even,
him? Is it Speed Hamilton?
yeah, Speed Hamilton, um,
I'm with it.
I honestly, I would say this, like nothing against Nick Lachey and Vanessa. Because before this, even though last time it was kind of a little spicy too, but not as biased as some people have said. Because I feel like everybody needs a chance to kind of adjust or whatever. But I will say, especially going up on season 5, it's like why not bring the couple that was on the first one that
Mhm.
got, seemingly based on production wise, got engaged first, barely had really much issues. It was just cultural issues and just trying to figure that out. And
Mhm.
they've lasted, and seem to be doing pretty well and bounce off one another. Of course, we don't get to see behind the scenes, but that's their life, But
And they
oh
both have hosting experience.
yeah.
Lauren has a podcast for Netflix,
Hmm.
and dang, his name just left my head just like that.
I just know
What's her
him.
husband's name?
I don't know why I can't think of his name.
Cameron. It's Cam.
Cameron,
Yeah, she
yeah.
called him Cam. So yeah, and he actually recently hosts like this whole Love Is Blind reunion weekend. They had some
Mm.
type of like Q&A or something, and he hosted that as well. So like they have hosting experience, and I think the difference between them and probably Nick and Vanessa, because they've been through the experiment before, they're going to know how to talk to the contestants and give them grace, but also how to get, I don't want to say the juicy stuff, but still produce a good show.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. I mean, and that's how the producers can coach them through it and all this stuff like that. So yeah, so I mean, I'm not trying to take nothing away from it and stuff like that. But even if it's one of those things they keep, uh Nick Lachey and Vanessa, maybe they can include them with meeting with the couples throughout the show. And I
Mm-hmm.
feel like that would be pretty dope. Kind of like they can go to them about things, when they meet with them like 2 or 3 times out of the whole season. I feel like that'll be, very impactful and really big. Even if they just did that. Because I've always said that like I really enjoy Love is Blind, and I always say I just wish they had counselors like they do on Married at First Sight for
Mm-hmm.
Love is Blind. And if so, I feel like it will almost be a really almost dang near.
Oh, that would be a game changer.
Uh-huh. Because at the end of the day, like, yeah, this is a reality show, but these are people's lives. And it's just like giving them the tools for that. I
That
feel like it'd be
if they
helpful.
would have had a marriage and family counselor, that would have really helped like Jackie and Marshall
Yeah.
communicate with each other and realize we not for each other, and it would
Yeah.
have probably ended in a better way.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. Definitely. Definitely, man. So but that I think that's it for Love is Blind, Blaze. Do you got anything else for that?
that's it. Well, Brett and Tiffany, I love how people call them like the new Cameron and Lauren, which is kind of crazy because what's this, season 4?
Yeah.
And nobody from any other season has been like, oh,
Close.
like Cameron and Lauren. Like that's crazy. But they are so great together. Watching their journey
Yeah.
was awesome.
Yeah, yeah, I'm really happy for him. I'm really
The
glad,
Browns.
that, yeah, the Brown. I'm glad it's worked out. Their personalities are really bouncing off each other. They got good energy, and like, hey, hopefully, they do get, those opportunities like they did, I feel like they're definitely worth it and fit for the opportunities, if they want it,
Mhm.
definitely. So I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what they have next. But overall, Blaze, I think we finally done wrapped everything up with Love is Blind.
Yeah,
And
love is finished.
yeah, love will go on, so but cool beans. Well, enjoyed doing another episode with you, Blaze. Glad to be back at it with you. Glad
Same.
that we were able to get another episode out with our ambitious listeners. Like I said, we back at it. We're gonna be back at it weekly once again. As always, please make sure you check out our social medias. We're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, we're on YouTube. And so just make sure you check those out. Feel free to DM us, let us know what you think. Feel free to rate us on the different platforms that you're listening to as well. We want to know just, what you think about different episodes so we can just keep on growing this thing. And we want y'all to be involved as well. So with that being said, we're going to holler at y'all later.
Peace.
Peace.